Friends, we know that the human civilization, human mankind is on the verge of exploding into space exploratory civilization. In fact, a lot of countries today are investing big time in space exploration. They are preparing their own space launch vehicles and also satellites. However, we will have to send humans at some point in time, and therefore the advancement in AI are very timely, because some of the functions can be handled by AI when they are in space, while the life support system can be provided only for the humans who will control the AI robots, etc. So the biggest challenge is sending the material up in the space where a large spaceship can be constructed for the space exploration, and that is very, very expensive. To send 1 kilogram of material into space at the current cost, it costs something like $1 million. So this is huge, and usually the space launches cost billions of dollars, and that is a very, very expensive proposition, and that is why that is a limiting factor. That is why some countries actually have to look at their foreign exchange and make a choice whether they want to send people in space or they have to grow their economy. And that is the reason why the moon missions in way back in 70s were also cut down by the government. The funding for the for NASA for moon missions were not allowed by the government, because they wanted to invest in their own economy, and rather than spend money with no outcome. So when we talk about outcome, the outcome has to be in terms of some sort of monetary gains, and therefore we have certain elements which are rare on Earth. However, these elements are quite in abundance in outer space bodies like asteroids, etc. So the if we want to basically go to space, and the incentive for launching expensive space missions, the return could be mining of asteroid. However, when the people go there, how they will stay. So in today's discussion, we are actually talking about the asteroid habitat. Instead of only sending robotics probe onto the asteroid, you can actually send a couple of humans who will become project managers, and they will have a habitat on a selected asteroid, and then they can start mining the nearby asteroid. So and these asteroids can be made mobile. So we will discuss all of that in today's live stream. If you have any suggestions, any questions, you can post it across. All right, so let's move forward. When we talk about space habitat, we usually have this image in our mind, a huge rotating ring type structure, where on the inner side the people can live. And this rotating ring structure actually is required because in order to create artificial gravity. So artificial gravity we will come in a bit, but this rotatory disk, in fact, there are so many movies which talks about this rotatory disk, where the inner side, because of the centrifugal force, the inner side of the disk can create an artificial gravity, and the force of gravity, which is basically the force of pushing things outwards, is equal to the force of gravity. And if you rotate this ring at sufficiently high velocity, you can actually mimic the effect of gravity on Earth. So this is a very practical method of creating habitat in space. But then to create this large ring structure and to rotate it, you need maintenance. You also need a lot of material transfer to lower Earth orbit, and then construction can begin, because this ring cannot be hoisted into the space. When we send such a tiny spacecraft over the top of a huge rocket which costs billions of dollars, how you intend to send a huge structure a kilometer in diameter from Earth? So it has to be constructed and in the space itself, and that is why this is a chicken and egg problem. How do you start sending people and create comfortable habitat for them? Because this kind of ring structure, though it is very practical and viable, but construction has many challenges. Therefore, the next option is to use asteroid itself. Now, what are asteroids? Asteroids are the chunk of rocky material free floating in space. Asteroid essentially is the leftover material of of the solar system, which is still falling into different planets and creating these large craters on the surface. However, we are all made of asteroids, and essentially asteroid has all these all the ingredients that are required. It has water, it has metals, it has a whole lot of rare earth element, etc. And these are all free floating bodies, and most of the asteroids are primarily found between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. So however, there are asteroids which are also found in the habitable zone. That means there are few asteroids, large ones, which are floating around between the orbits of Earth and Mars. So they are in the habitable zone. So we have to look at habitable surfaces between the Earth and Mars, and find out if these asteroids have stable orbits. And why habitable? Because in this area of the solar system you can actually have liquid water. There is sufficient heat provided for humans to live. They can also enjoy the sunset and sunrise, etc., etc. And asteroid brings a lot of advantage, and then sending humans on the surface of asteroid may be far quicker, because you can send the humans on the spaceship using the current technology. They will land on the asteroid, and they will actually live in a habitat which has been prefabricated on the asteroid. And then you can move the asteroid, as the recent experiment of NASA has showed us, that you can actually provide sufficient thrust to the asteroid, and it can start moving around. So you can essentially change the orbit of the asteroid based on your requirement. So essentially asteroid can convert into your spaceship without having to lift heavy material into space to construct your movie style huge mothership, because asteroid provides you a surface. It also provides you some sort of gravity, and I will come to this aspect, because any asteroid is a fantastic platform for building a spacecraft or converting that asteroid into a spacecraft, because it provides surface, and it also has a potential to create gravity, artificial gravity. So we will come to that. So asteroid has to be present in the habitable zone, essentially around Earth, so that the motion or the movement of humans from Earth to this new spaceship is not hampered by distance. Or currently humans are planning to go to the Mars, where they are saying that it will take anything between 6 to 7 months, whereas if there is a nearby asteroid in the habitable zone, then they can actually shorten this time in a few weeks using the current day technology, not even talking about the ion drives, etc., etc., not these advanced nuclear powered engines or nuclear explosion pulsating engines. So none of those high-tech technology. Using the primitive current day technology, we can actually start sending people on the surface of asteroid. And only thing is that we have to identify the asteroid, and therefore this identification is very important. So let me tell you how the artificial gravity can be created. So let me take you to my board. So essentially, if you just to recap on the knowledge, the centrifugal force is responsible for creating a gravity in a ring structure. So if you have a ring structure and you make this ring structure rotate, go around, then the outer layers of the ring structure will have a tendency to go forward like this, go in a straight line. So basically you must have seen this while in your moving a slingshot, while playing at using a sling, and then tie a stone to a rope, and then you rotate it around. So you can actually mimic this experiment. So it has a tendency to create this kind of a motion when the things are rotating. However, so this is called centrifugal force. This force is called centrifugal force, which is taking things outward. Therefore, when you create a ring structure, then the material of which the ring is made has to be super strong. So the material can be carbon fiber, or it could be any other super material of the future which can withstand this kind of a pressure, outward pressure. However, if we remember the second law or third law of Newton, then every force has an equal and opposite reaction. So if there is something which is moving this way, something must be moving this way also, in the opposite direction. Now this is called centripetal force. So combination of these two vectors, we can actually balance them out on this point and create a gravitational force which is in net moving things outwards. So because things are getting moved outwards, by balancing these two forces, we can create an artificial gravity. So this is the method by which the gravity can be created. Now let's look at why asteroid. Now if you know that asteroids are a chunk of rocks which are free floating in space, and obviously some of the asteroids are loose rubble of rocks, so we have to basically identify asteroids which are solid enough. Either they are made of metal or they are made of some sort of rock. So that can be identified sitting on Earth. Let's identify those asteroids which are in the near and vicinity of Earth, and also in the habitable zone, and have stable orbits. And they must be offering good support. They should not be offering a rubble kind of surface. They should have solid surface. So there are asteroids which fits the criteria. Now let's take example of an asteroid which is like a big rock tumbling around, and if the the size of the asteroid is at least 1 kilometer, and it is made of hard surface, this kind of asteroid can become a good enough platform for converting this into a spaceship. Now if this is rotating on its axis, then half of the problem is solved, because if it is rotating like this in this direction, then on this side of the asteroid you can actually create a dome structure where human cities or small habitation can be built. Because the asteroid is moving in this direction, it will create a pressure towards the surface. So by calculating this inward pressure, we can actually create a scenario where a certain percentage of Earth's gravity can be mimicked on the surface. However, if you actually drill a hole on the other side and create another dome like this and have the habitation on this side of the surface, I mean, if you are able to do that, then it will have the same impact. So people on this side, especially when the asteroid is rotating in this direction, if it is rotating in this direction, the people on this side can live on the surface, and people on this side can either live on a dome which is outside, or they can actually dig a tunnel and start living on this surface inside a cavity. And both places will offer similar habitation and similar gravity for humans to basically go there and settle down. All right, so now we have figured out how to basically select the asteroid. What are the parameters? We have to start building the habitation places, and these habitats will be sufficient. They will be like Antarctica type habitation, where these houses will be sufficient for recreation for humans. They will be sufficient for some sort of activities, and also their overall mission. So they should have a control segment, etc. Now when you create these habitation, you also have to make sure that these habitats are maintained. So for that you can actually create AI controlled bots which will be always outside, and they have a specific task to repair, identify any cracks or any misfunctioning of the equipment which are kept outside the habitat, and fix them automatically. So you can actually keep monitoring the AI systems which are maintaining your facility, because for putting the bots which are AI controlled, you don't need to create a environment where you need oxygen, water, etc. These machines can be put outside the habitat, and they will always have a continuous job of monitoring the facility and maintaining them. So even though humans return to Earth, these spider type robots will continue to maintain the center or the habitat on the asteroid, and they will not be affected by gravity or anything. As long as energy is provided, charge is provided, they will continue to do their work efficiently. So you can actually create a central hub where the human habitat can be provided, where scientists and astronauts or even mining experts can live for at least 3 to 6 months on a long-term basis. They will not have issues related to zero gravity, etc. They will be provided water, air to breathe, and all of these systems which can be incorporated into this habitat, so that they will have enough comfortable life, and also recreational places where they can have gym or some sort of indoor game, or even external races can be provided for, so that human can have their own development while they are stationed on asteroid. However, when they're stationed on asteroid, what is their mission strategy? What is that they will be doing? I mean, unlike the Apollo mission, where there was no tangible benefit provided to the mankind, although there were huge benefit in terms of exploration, but there was no money gain because of the moon missions way back in 60s and 70s. So there has to be something which you should get in return, because you are making so much huge investment. So the mission strategy will be very simple, where these humans will be controlling the army of bots which will be mining nearby asteroids. So those processes can be completely automated, where the mining can be done on nearby asteroids which are not habitable, and you can actually mine them and send the raw material, process them, and send them to for further processing back on Earth. So this could be a good enough reason for creating a long-term habitat in space. And therefore, let us also understand how much time this will take. From planning to actually completing the task, using the current day technology, it should not take more than 12 years. So within 12 years, you will actually be able to station humans on the surface of asteroid, and that could be an interim outpost for moving human civilization to outer planets like Mars and Jupiter, where there are quite good prospects of humans exploration in satellites of Jupiter like Europa, etc. So within 12 years at lower cost as compared to sending people to Mars, with a minuscule cost of that and less complexity, you can start living on the surface of the asteroid. So friends, let me know what you think about it, and also let me know if you have any suggestions, opinion, etc. on this subject, and I will read out your comments in the next episode of Science Show. Until then, have a nice day and take care. Bye bye.